Welcome to another exciting episode of Northern Nerdcast. Unfortunately, my introduction got not recorded properly last night, so this is just a brief introduction. Joining me on the show are going to be Matt and Kurtis. They were both former employees of EB. We made a joke that we weren't going to say the name, but we name dropped the store like numerous times. So we just talk about everything that's been going on in the retail side, what happens with pre-orders, midnight launches. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for tuning in. And if you like what you've seen, let your friends know, like that, or hit that subscribe button. And thanks again. Episode, we're going to be talking about the retail side of the video game industry, stuff that, you know, might not necessarily matter to a lot of people, but it's kind of a cool topic. And joining me today are Kurtis and Matt, former employees of, I won't say the store name or the company name because we don't want to get anybody in trouble, but welcome.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
So run me through like what exactly happens when you do a midnight.
Before we start, not to interrupt you here, Brad,
yeah, absolutely.
What's your opinion of retail, especially like physical store, brick and mortar retail? Because like obviously we have our inside experience, but it's probably better to get your experience.
Well, you know, actually that's good because like the worst experience I have ever had with a video game retail was at the very beginning of the lockdown when the game stores like EB and stuff were open, but they weren't supposed to be open. And then this is right around the time that Final Fantasy VII launched, and like the response, Kurtis will know because like I was like neither of you guys were at the store anymore, but like the online ordering system is just so much different than going into the store, and I think that they shit the bed with how they handle their online purchasing and everything. And it took me a month longer than the game release, and just excuse after excuse after excuse, and they wouldn't get back to you. I actually had to get the store manager over at the New Sudbury store involved, and then someone finally got back to me.
Right.
So,
what about even before the pandemic though? Like what was your, because obviously you were one of the guys that would come in like once a week.
Yeah, well, my
regular,
profile
right?
still says Sudbury, so. But I mean, my experience, I've always had a positive experience, but it also goes down to who's working in the store. Like there were people at the store before that I would walk in and they wouldn't even acknowledge me. And I mean, that's a first world problem. I'm used to it. You go into Walmart, you go into these places, they don't know who you are. But I mean, I'd like to think that my, like, not necessarily my reputation, but me and Mike and all of them, we're all known through Sudbury for creating Northern Game Expo. And I mean, it's not a big show by any means, but it's a show for Sudbury, and like getting promoting and stuff like that, it's non-existent. Like you were awesome for taking the posters, both of you, and putting them in. But I mean, like that's a big no-no for a big company. And I get it. They if they're going to be part of it, they want to be actually part of it. They want money, but no, it was a very personal experience, and you could tell between the stores. People are known by name. Like I'll name drop here, Glenn. Everybody knows Glenn.
Yeah.
You could see you knew Glenn was coming when you saw that white SUV, and it's like, oh,
A buzzword.
here we go again. But no,
You're digging deep in the cupboards for Glenn.
But oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like that just goes to show, like him, myself, like we come into the stores, and you get the random person, they'll come in and expect it to be treated like king shit, which I mean, every customer should be treated the same. But let's be honest, no store is going to treat one person any like the same as somebody else. It all goes down to your personability. I think that's the word. But yeah. Like I always like going into the store. Like I mean, I'm in a different city now, and it's the closest EV is in Timmins, and I don't like the one there. It's just,
I just don't like Timmins.
Timmins doesn't like Timmins.
Shots fired at Timmins. Shots fired at Timmins.
But I mean,
I've
no,
been there
it's all about just the how you're treated by the employees. So I mean,
well, the big thing for us too is like, especially from the backside of it, like when we saw you coming up to the store, we knew, okay, well, Brad's here for his pre-order that's already fully paid.
Yeah.
He's Onyx. He's gonna probably get, you know, another pre-order of it. So from the career standpoint of it, we knew we were gonna secure another pre-order, or you're gonna get the deluxe edition of the game, blah blah blah. So it was like, okay, well, yeah, Brad's a regular because he spends his money with us and he trusts the opinion. He sits and talks with us and stuff like that. But that's not the overall experience. Definitely not. It's more people like, how much for the VR? Can I have 2 of them? You know what I mean? Like, or
what do you mean I can't play them at the same time?
Yeah. What do you mean you're sold out of the PS4 Pro? It just came out yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot more of that, probably.
I think the best thing that I ever heard was there was an employee who Kurtis, this might have been before you got on, Matt. I think this was around Dave Boudreau's era, but somebody had called and the employee, I don't want to say names, but Kurtis will probably remember the situation. He actually said on the phone, thanks for calling EB Games. We do not have any of the NES classics.
I'm sure Kurt probably said that too, though.
What's that?
Oh, well, I mean...
No, where you can get neat lamps, all right?
Yeah. But I mean, like... Anytime there's a big system launch, like I guarantee you people are still calling saying, hey, got any PS5s? Like it's probably an hourly thing.
Oh, man,
so I mean, but like
even with like this, the Switch was very available on launch for us back in March of 2017, whatever that was. There was more than enough for not only the pre-orders, but you know, we had hundreds, and that was pretty intense. And considering now that there's like a huge shortage, I can't imagine what they're going through, and the store is closed. Like, I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that, because that would be like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, and you'd also have your regulars probably, well, not messaging you, but like trying to get in touch with you, being like, "Yo,
well, yeah." In certain instances too,
let me
exactly.
in.
Like you want to help out the people who support the business, that are there all the time, right? The people that are loyal, and that you don't necessarily want to be like, "Oh, no, we're not going to sell a console to somebody who's just walking in." But at the same time, like, you know, somebody's here twice a week and they're spending all their money here and they have a pre-order. You want to kind of like make sure they get taken care of.
Like that pop figure guy that showed up like literally every day.
Yeah, which one?
Oh, I don't know. The guy with the long white hair.
Oh yeah, he looked like Gerald from The Witcher.
But I mean, so like what? So the flip side to that is like talking about like, see, I've never. I worked retail. I worked at Walmart. I mean, that's a totally different experience. Oh, to me, I mean, everyone's got their pissed off customers, but I think like from what I've seen, and I've seen crazy people at that location, customer wise, like I'm sure that you guys have dealt with like just the weirdest stuff, like people just losing their minds over absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah.
So like, I mean, what like. How do you deal with stuff like that? Like, because, oh my God, I didn't get my pre-order. Like, this is bullshit. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. If it comes, it comes. If not, I'll wait for the next one.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like especially in Sudbury too, like the mall store gets supported for priority because they take more volume in, right? So
the EBX now.
We got the trickle off a lot of the time. And a lot of the time we got, it was kind of a weird situation because in Long Lake, you get a certain type of clientele. They're all people coming in from Long Lake. They're like people in the South End, and they're coming to the store for a very specific reason. They're not just in the mall and they pop into EB Games, right? They exclusively came to the store for that reason. So we would have people spend a lot of money, but like it's not a $39.99 transaction every 10 minutes. It was like a $400 transaction every hour.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like you would get a lot of like, I mean, let me just say this: there's Tesla charging ports in front of our store.
Yeah.
If that can give you an idea of our clientele, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can be nice and they can spend a lot of money, but at the same time, they can be real shitty. So.
Okay. Well, then, so see, I've never been to one, and I mean, I'm sure you guys have done it before, but like, what entails a midnight launch? Like, I don't get the allure or the concept. Like, I know the games are big and like, but why? Like, so you can play it right away? Like,
Well, Kurt, I think you should take that one because you actually worked them.
yeah, managers don't be working that stuff unless there's an
No.
issue.
We can
Well,
make
also in
other
the
people
South
do it.
End too, right? We weren't allowed.
It's definitely kind of shifted over the last, I want to say, like half decade for definitely like the interest of midnight launches. Before it was a midnight launch, you pick up the game, you go home, throw it in your console, and you're in the game. You're just maybe like a 5 megabyte patch if you're playing on a PS3. But now you like for Red Dead Redemption, you picked up that game at launch, you brought it home, you had 6 hours of patching before you even able to turn on the main menu. It's shifted so much that even midnight launches are just turning into 7 p.m. launches. Like it's not.
That was
it's not
actually a
what it
big
was
thing for us at the store too, right? Like because the mall they had security, right? So they were actually allowed to open past retail hours and do minute launch. We didn't have private security, so we weren't allowed. But what the company started doing, like Kurt said, the game would launch at 8 p.m. So we'd have an hour of sales and we'd sell 35 copies of the game. And like that was our midnight launch, was 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he's right, like it was people trying to get a jump. I find it was most common for multiplayer games, obviously, because people want to get in it and quick, and you know what I mean. So, but it wasn't, especially at our store, it wasn't like you were like throwing games at people, and it was like this a barn burner sale. It was more like you knew the 20 people that were probably going to come on launch because they were the people that bought every Call of Duty or every whatever, right?
Every Pokemon or.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
At least you're not wearing your farming simulator hat, Kurt. Oh,
I
we should. Oh,
I
dude.
was going to. I was going
Oh,
to.
damn it. We should have. God damn it.
I remember they rocking that hat.
Actually, a quick sidebar story too, which is like one of the proudest moments I ever had at Kurt when we were working together, was that like obviously your district manager, he lives in like Burlington, right? He lives like he hardly checks in on you physically, but he tracks your numbers, he tracks what you're selling, what your pre-orders, your Edge memberships, all that stuff. One of the metrics that for some reason he knew was how many Farming Simulator 2018s we sold, and Kurtis was like leading in the company, not in Northern Ontario, not in town, in like Canada. Kurt had the most Farming Simulator 18 sales. And like for whatever reason, like our district manager thought it was hilarious. So like every chance we had, everyone would come in. Like Assassin's Creed just came out, but like, but have you played Farming Simulator 2018?
It's very similar, I swear. There is hay bales that you can set up to jump into.
But yeah, so. But it was like honestly, like not sorry, but like one of the greatest jobs ever too. Like me and Kurt, like we would spend 40 hours a week together, and very like we was always pretty steady and whatever. But like we could have had our own in-store podcast, like the stuff that we talked about, like, and shout out to like Abby and Max too, who were like the quadrant, like the four of us. It was like the conversations were just absolutely ridiculous. It's the greatest place to work. It was so fun.
So what changed?
Kurt?
Throw him under the bus.
No, honestly, it's management. That's the thing about retail, right? Like you have especially in Sudbury, like you get a visit from a district manager
who knows nothing about what's going on.
No, they don't know the traffic you get. They don't know the way the store operates. Like we went 3 years almost like running pretty smoothly with our district manager. District manager changed, and it completely changed our environment. And we never saw the new manager, but it completely changed how we were supposed to operate, how we were doing our numbers. It just turned into like a really weird environment. And the district manager that took over, I mean, this speaks to kind of retail. She used to go around opening up new Tim Hortons, and she got hired on EB to be a district manager. And she was like, I mean, whatever, it was what it was, but it was toxic, I thought.
They traded passion for numbers, and it was a hard shift in how we not only ran it, but how we just experienced every day.
Even for myself, like again, I didn't work in the store, but I mean, I think I was there enough that like after you left, Matt, you could just tell that the peppiness wasn't there, like, and not knocking Kurt or anybody, but like it was more like, okay, I'm gonna get in, I'm not gonna do like what Glenn does and walk the store like I usually did. I knew what I was looking for. I would call ahead and I would get in, get out, and that's it. And it's just like it seemed like it had just after that, and then after I poached Kurtis, it just really went downhill. So, but I mean, like even the like everyone just stopped, like not everyone, but people just even stopped caring about mind you, maybe it's because I always said no, but people just didn't seem like caring about selling the warranty anymore. Like it's just it didn't matter. But it didn't seem like it mattered. Like I sometimes I'd be like cashing out and it wasn't even offered, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just because they know I'm going to say no. But I think there's only been a couple games that I've actually done the warranty on, because I like knew that it would be hard to find, and if something happened, then I would at least get my money back if they can't find the game.
I think it's one of those things too. Like you hear about like the certain buzzwords of working for a major retailer like that. Like one of the things is how often they fuck up pre-orders, which that happened all the time because they have one warehouse, as you hear about. But another thing is the game protection, right? The GPGs. And a lot of the times when me and Kurt, everyone who worked there while we were there, it was not because you should throw it on because it gets $3 every sale or whatever it is. It was because what you can do with, like, we actually would sell it to the people that will use it. And it's like one of those things, like, we're not being a keener. We know that you'll probably back, or you're going to be trading this in, use your 7 days, use your edge card, use this. We actually, like, for certain customers, we did believe in like the program and using it. But at the same time, the company doesn't care about that. They care about the amount of times you hit it in that day. And for more often than not, it's people abusing it, throwing it on without asking. New Sudbury Center. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I think for us, it was more of like, I don't know. I think because we had less volume, it actually led to the store operating more like casually, which I think worked really well until
one of the things that I liked more about the South End store was you guys got more of the obscure titles, which like, and I mean, I'm not even, I could do an entire podcast on new games, but I'm not going to, because as soon as the plastic is taken off a game, it's not new anymore. So EB shouldn't be calling it new, but that's
the sticker.
And I mean,
or the plastic wrap in the back room.
I'm sure like if I got Glenn on, it would be like a 4-hour podcast just on the new copies. But no, it's just like I don't think I've ever left the store without anything, unless it was just because I was bored and my wife was at Walmart and I was just killing time. But like a lot of the stuff I have in my collection is just been like a impulse buy, like, oh, there's only one of these. Glenn can't have it now.
As a customer, Brad, like, what did you feel about, like, because when I first started EB in 2016, it was like very strict. Like, they still had a Nintendo DS section. Like, it was a game store still, and very slowly, obviously, as you've seen, they've transitioned to like the toy and the collectible.
They're doing what Chapters is doing. Chapters is getting away from their books, and now it's betting.
Yeah, they're turning into Bed Bath and Beyond. That's true.
As
else you gonna read.
Exactly.
And when we had to set up our baby section at EB Games, I was like, where are we going right now? What is happening? Like,
as a gamer / like physical, because I don't care what anybody says, you will not sell me on a digital game ever. The only game I ever bought digital was because EB fucked up my pre-order and didn't send it, was Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
But like, as time went on, like, I still remember when it was Electronics Boutique and they had their little kiosk in the corner of the mall where the chocolate store is Rocky Chocolates or whatever it's called. That used to be EB Electronics Boutique, and then they moved to the small one where Kudo is now and to where they are now. But just as time went on, you see more toys coming in. I remember for a while they were taking DVDs on trade-in, and they stopped doing that. And then for a while, I don't know if they still do it or if it's certain stores, but there was a phone selection. Like, who's going to buy a phone?
We had that
sold
too.
A lot.
We did, actually. We would get hyped up because it counted as like a recycled sale or used or whatever they had at the time. So we had a glass cabinet on the wall, and it had like iPhone 6s in it and stuff like that. And you'd get like a $600. So you had no idea if the phone worked or anything. It just happened to get traded in, and yeah, here you go, take it. You know what I mean? And make sure you buy the GPG.
What carriers are with? It's an Apple.
Yeah, I hope this wasn't traded in one of our U.S. stores.
So I gotta ask, have either of you guys had your ma'am moment?
Oh God, Kurt! Oh man, Kurt was so good at dealing with Karens.
It's ma'am.
Oh yeah.
No,
I mean not specifically, but yeah. But Kurt, oh man, the way that Kurt would deal with certain, like, especially like little kids or like, it's hilarious. Like Kurt's give a fuck level at certain times was so awesome. And like I was managing a store. I'm like, more of what you're doing, because like this is unbelievable how you're dealing with some of these people, especially like mams and Karens and kids and stuff. So
you give an inch, they take a mile. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I only have 10 minutes left. That's cool.
Well, that's flying by, bud.
Oh, it is. Like when you have people on that you have a good time with, you just like lose track. But there's no way that was 40 minutes, because I'm pretty sure we started at like 7:20. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Well, I don't want to speak to Kurt, but I'll come back on if you ever want us, man.
I definitely like I always try and come up with different ideas on like how I can expand it and everything. And now that I have OBS and everything, I'll start playing around more so that I can get the feel for it and everything. But like what, since we're down to 9 minutes, what is like your best memory, worst memory, like whatever, like what stood out the most to you guys when you were at the store? Like anything.
Pull and play.
I just got a shiver down my spine when you said that.
The seasonal pull and play. Yeah.
That's definitely worst moments.
You know what? You should do an ASMR with that pull and play.
We always got every time we got a customer, it felt like they only sent the cards to certain stores that were like, oh, it's this like high-end Toronto store. This guy won like a PS4 and TV bundle. And the one time that a lady came in and pulled not socks and won a PS4 Pro, I was more excited than she was. I'm like, you got a PS4 Pro? And she's like, I just want the Game Boy. Like, I'm like, no, you don't understand, lady.
You won.
You won.
Actually, the thing about, I don't know if it like EB tries to build a thing. The thing about launches, they were both like very intense and like a lot of work, but they were pretty fun because everyone's coming in. They're super excited, especially like consoles, like with the Switch. It was, I think me and Kurt both worked 12 hours that day and the next day, that whole weekend. But you're excited about the console. We both got one. The new games are coming out for it. Everyone who's coming in is buying amiibos and games and all the accessories, and everyone's just like loading up on stuff because that happens once every 4 or 5 years, right? So those days were both horrible, but at the same time they were awesome because stores making money, everyone's like excited to be there. Nobody's like, this console sucks, I know it, but I'll take one. Everyone's like excited to be there. And so I mean, the cliche answer is the funnest times we had was literally just like the four of us in the store, like the staff, like we were like, I mean, still to this day, like best people I ever worked with for sure. But the political answer is also like the launches, like they actually make, especially with like the giveaways and the free stuff that you get and all that, whatever. It was, they actually made it fun in a way. And you're not getting like pissed off customers. Like I said, you're getting people happy to be there, which is, if you're selling toys for a living, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. For myself, like, I would say it was when Kurtis found a loophole on how to stack the
Oh yeah, Kurt was always wheeling and dealing. But
I think I ended up with somehow I had ended up with 40% or whatever, plus the additional boost from the Onyx membership. So it was like 60% off of brand new games. So I ended up.
I remember I would get texts sometimes too. Like Kurt would text me, but like, I don't know if you're cool with this or even know if you can do this.
I've got this new
but
idea.
if you have an Onyx card and you get this percentage off, and then you stack it with 2 pull-in plays, and also you get this discount, does that work? I'm like, bring it up, bud.
It's sale's a sale.
That's right.
But I mean, like for myself, like especially with Kurtis, it was like, oh, you bought these headphones, but did you know this game came out? And it's like, just give it to me.
I said it almost once a week. Kurt, one of the best salesmen I ever met. He was the one bringing the traffic into that store. He could sell, like the Farming Simulator is the example I say, right? Like, who wants to buy Farming Simulator? And we sold a lot of them. It just goes to show he knew what he was doing.
It's the chances you get to actually even experience the products, like being excited to sell something, just felt like you were more prepared to sell it to someone else. Like when you like it, they can like it.
Yeah.
Another good thing EB did, I will say too, was like the giveaways and the handouts to the staff. Like not to be that guy, but Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, 2 of them, Switch, 60 games probably in the course of 2 years. Like the amount of stuff they gave us to play it so you could sell it was like unbelievable. Like it was just like, and it not even that it's, and honestly, it's not even necessarily EB. It's actually the developers. So Microsoft would send you a box. It would have Forza Horizon 4 in it, and it would have a bunch of hats, frisbees, stupid little toys, all that stuff. But the company was like, yeah, take it, give it out.
I think I still have my Xbox gingerbread cookie set somewhere around here.
Go. Yeah, exactly.
I got a Doom lunchbox, and I didn't even work at the store.
Oh yeah, we would give out all the free stuff they gave us. Like we would just like toss it away. We'd have hundreds of fidget spinners.
Well, you bought a game. Here's a hat.
Yeah.
Here's 400 fidget spinners.
That was 750.
Yeah, well, they were a penny each, weren't they?
They were. No tax.
I remember when those things were the rage for like a day, and then everyone had one, and they're just like, why do we have these?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we had 1,000 and nothing to do with them.
Oh, God.
There he is. He's
There
still
it
on.
This is actually one of the biogenic fidget spinners.
Put in your microphone. I want some ASMR fidget spinner. Oh God.
Oh, tingles. Oh. Man, that's I still can't believe you bought 750 fidget spinners.
I don't remember what I did with half of them though.
Didn't you bring them to work one day and like hand them out?
It was my
karaoke
birthday.
one night.
We got drunk and I started handing them out to. I was like opening people's jackets, like,
hey man, you want a fidget spinner?
No, I didn't ask.
You want to go up and sing a song karaoke? Yeah, I gotta take a fidget spinner.
Oh, I remember having one of those, and it was like apparently a stress reliever, and I was more stressed using it after. Why won't you spin faster?
Squeals.
Anything else? We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Kurt, anything, bud?
The company's fun to work with. The company was fun to work for, and even knowing the ins and outs of that company, I'll still go back and send my praises to anyone else looking for it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like the amount of time that, I mean, we worked there. Me and Kurt actually both started in the mall store to train, and then we got sent to the South End together. And like literally the best team I ever worked with. Like it wasn't like the typical setup of a workplace. It was like we were 4 like friends that just happened to run a store together, which was awesome. And I think that actually came through. And also, like, it's a toy store. What do you got to complain about at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It actually was. There was obviously problems, but it was awesome.
Like getting a call at midnight that the store was broken into.
Yeah, for the 3rd time this year.
It wasn't me, I swear.
This month.
Yeah, that's actually something we could talk about if you ever have us back on. I got stories about that. Holy moly!
Oh, that's great. No, it's we'll wind it down now, but I'd definitely like to get you guys back on, and I don't know, just do what we're doing, just talk, because, well, first of all, like I haven't seen you in a long time, and I mean, Kurt, I kind of just left after Thunder Bay. I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm moving to Kirkland Lake, guys.
Well, that's the thing too with me and Kurt too. Like me and Kurt would see each other. We would spend like 30 hours a week together, and like it just because of the pandemic too. That's a whole other thing. But
yeah,
we got to link back.
This is the longest I've seen anyone without wearing a mask.
That's very true.
COVID.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up this exciting episode. I thank you guys again for coming on, and again, we definitely have to do this another time when Clayton's not sick, because he has actually a lot of insight about retail stores and his experiences. But again, thanks for joining me, and we'll do it again.
Right on, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
Later.